the stories of entrepreneurs and how they overcame the struggles and challenges to get where they are today. This is Believe in the Entrepreneur with Joel Sandoval, CPA.
What's going on? Welcome to another episode of Believe in the Entrepreneur, and I'm super excited because I have Dario Escamilla in the house, who's one of the top agents at Weichert Realtor Superior Homes. So Dario, thanks for being on the show.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Awesome, man. So Dario, for those that don't really know you, why don't we take it back to, tell us a little bit about yourself and maybe even what you did before real estate.
Absolutely. So, again, my name is Dario Escamilla. I've been in the real estate industry for about 5 years now. It's been a great experience. Before that, I was a mortgage originator. I worked for a bank. I was there for about 5 years as well. That kind of gave me an idea of what the real estate industry, what the real estate world kind of had to offer.
Right.
And eventually, again, made my transition over to the real estate side.
Okay, cool. So what, obviously you're in mortgage, which even though they're related, obviously is different from actually, real estate sales. So what made you make the shift from mortgages to real estate?
So being that I worked at the bank, I was actually a personal banker before I was a loan originator.
Okay.
I got introduced to the mortgage side of things, the mortgage lending, and I liked it. I felt like even then my plan was to become a real estate agent, and I felt like that would be a great option to prepare me and learn from the mortgage side of things. I felt like that would only give me a bit of an advantage if I ever did switch over to the real estate side. And it did. It helped a lot. It allowed me to really have a better understanding for the overall process, not just dealing with the real estate side of things, but it allowed me to understand what is needed as a lender and what to and how to prepare my clients to have a smoother, easier transaction.
Cool. So it sounds like it was kind of always in the plans of you being a real estate agent. Now, why didn't you just start off like right off the bat? Let me be a realtor, work in real estate. Why did you start in banking?
You know what? That was partially my plan, and things don't always work out as you desire. But I felt like I was fortunate, being that I got the opportunity to work at a bank, and that allowed me to transition to eventually the role that I have now. It allowed me to again learn while still having a job, basically.
Yeah.
It allowed me to learn. It allowed me to prepare myself better for the real estate side of things. So again, the plan wasn't necessarily to start on the mortgage side and then become a realtor. It just kind of worked out that way. And I'm kind of glad that it did, because again, I felt like it taught me a lot to prepare me for the real estate side.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think having the foundation is really important, because otherwise you're going to build, a mess.
Exactly.
Yeah, so it's good that you had that foundation. So in banking, I'm assuming you probably had like a steady paycheck coming in. And then now in real estate, it's all commission-based, all sales. So like, did you have any fears to make that transition, or were you like, no, I already know I'm going to succeed?
You know what? Fears, absolutely. They're always there. I feel like as a self-employed individual, it's something that just comes normal. Fears are part of being human, but being able to overcome them and to, I guess, find it in yourself to keep pushing. Along with the help of all my mentors and peers. Again, it was kind of a scary transition in the beginning, but it's one of those things where I look back and I'm glad I took that dive. It worked out for the best.
Yeah, 100%. And that's kind of how it happened to me. I mean, I risked a lot because I had a family. I had a wife, soon to be newborn. I was first time dad, and I actually quit my job to start, my firm, Sandoval Tax CPAs, during that moment. So I had a lot at risk. But I kind of just went all in, and I'm very thankful looking back that I did. But one of the things you said is that you had mentors, right? And that's probably what gave you some assurance. So how important is mentorship to you? How important was it when you started this transition?
I feel like in the beginning, at least myself, I didn't really see the importance of having a good mentor or somebody to look up to, and ask questions. But once I started moving forward with my career, I realized that in this business, whether you're on the mortgage side or the real estate side, if you try to do it all by yourself, you're gonna make your life a lot harder. So if you're able to reach out to other people and ask questions and have other people help you, basically try to work together with a lot of other people, that's only going to benefit you. It's going to teach you a lot, and it's really going to help you find the way and find what you need to keep moving forward.
Yeah.
Part of it, but yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Now, you mentioned that you didn't really know how important it was, though, until later. Mm-hmm. So, like, how did you come across that breakthrough?
So, nowadays, when it comes to social media, whether it be Instagram, YouTube, you start to... at least for myself, I started to kind of venture into all those business pages and people that are out there doing the same thing that I'm doing. And I started seeing what was working for them. And I started realizing that what worked for them is basically having a team and having people around them that are going to help them, that are going to support them and help them move forward. So it was one of those learning lessons, I guess. As a entrepreneur, being self-employed, you kind of take that leap of faith, and then you learn as you go. Mm-hmm. That's kind of what happened with that as well.
Okay. So you obviously saw that teams were important, right? And people that were having success had teams. So did you reach out to a mentor that helped you build your team, or what happened during that kind of moment in time?
So what I realized was basically that in order for me to grow my business and to learn what I need to know, I have to, again, reach out to other people and can't think of the word, but what is it? Interact with other people. I can't think of the word. Anyways, you have to reach out to other people and try to expand your knowledge as much as you can.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah.
Forgot your question.
Yeah, 100%. So, I mean, obviously having mentors is super important. Like for me, it was one of the most probably important things in my business, because there's a saying that says you don't know what you don't know. And it's like you're going to basically kind of learn the hard way, right? It's like if you try to figure it out yourself, it's like you can learn from someone who's already done it. And it could shortcut your path to success. And that's what, for me, I was able to build a, multi-million-dollar accounting firm because I invested into mentorship, into coaches. And it just allowed me to basically really achieve financial freedom, which I think that's really what a lot of people are working towards. It's like, to be able to build something that's bigger than themselves.
Absolutely.
And I think that's what, mentorship allowed me to do. So tell me a little bit about, like, if someone, obviously, you're doing pretty well in real estate. Like if someone wants to work with you, how is your experience, different from anybody else's?
So when it comes to my clients, what I try to do is if somebody reaches out to me, if their goal is either to sell a property or purchase a property, I basically, again, if someone's looking to buy a home, for example, my goal is their goal. My goal is to try to do whatever I can in my power to reach their goal or what they're trying to do. So really, it's just a matter of sitting down with my clients, figuring out what their intentions are, why they're looking to sell, why they're looking to buy, and after that, trying to put together an action plan that works for them to reach their goal.
Right. Yeah, I think that's super important. It's kind of like, well, how can you be of service, right? And it's having that service mindset of, well, what is it that we're trying to achieve, and how can we help you get there?
Exactly.
Right. Whether it's buying a house, whether it's selling your house, or in my case, how can we help you pay less taxes, or how can we help get you financial statements, right? It's always comes down to what is it that you're trying to achieve, and how can I be of service to help you get there? Because I have the expertise to basically facilitate that.
Exactly.
So once you kind of work with someone, do they work with you throughout the whole process, or kind of like, or kind of explain to me after you find out their goals, like what's next.
So yeah, what I do is once I meet with my clients and we establish what the goal in mind is, I'm here to help them throughout the whole purchase process or throughout the whole sale process. I want to make sure that my clients are aware that I'm their number one point of contact, even if it's a financing question, whatever it may be. I want them to feel comfortable and reach out to me. At the end of the day, purchasing a home is it's one of the biggest transactions probably anybody does in their lifetime.
Right.
So with that comes a lot of fears as a buyer. And again, my job is to basically make it as stress-free as possible, and explain to them every single step along the way.
Cool. Yeah, it's interesting that like it even goes back to fear, right? Like fear of being a realtor, fear of buying a house, right? There's always these fears, and how do we overcome them? And for me, buying a house has always been, I've never lost in buying a house in real estate because, you know, that doesn't always happen, but usually goes up in value. So I've always been able to sell that property and cash in on my equity. And as long as I can afford the mortgage payment, you know, I've come out a winner. So I love real estate for that reason. Now, obviously the market's changing though with, you know, interest rates rising, the federal government trying to basically kind of slow down inflation by basically increasing the interest rate. So has that impacted your business? And if so, how?
You know what? To a certain extent, when rates go up, how they have in the past few weeks, it does affect some buyers. It basically lowers their qualifying amount. It reduces their options as far as what they're looking to purchase. So it can affect some buyers, but at the same time, the type of market that we had, let's say a year ago, it was such a hot market. Rates were so low. There was such a huge buyer demand that you, as an agent, you were seeing offers come in that were completely out of the normal. Not a traditional real estate market. People were really going above and beyond to try to get their offer accepted. So with these rates going up, it kind of eliminated a lot of people from the market, a lot of buyers, to the point where it's to a certain extent it's kind of balancing out a bit more. It's becoming a bit more normalized, and you still have a lot of people that are well qualified. Just instead of having 16 offers on one home, now you might have 8 offers, which is still great. So on that sense, it has changed our business to a certain extent, but I feel like ultimately by the market normalizing, it's only going to be a good thing.
Gotcha. Now, would you say it's still a seller's market? Because obviously, like during that time where people were making offers above and beyond the purchase price and like all these crazy offers, like I kind of took advantage of that, and I sold one of my rental properties for like, I had it for 5 years and the equity went up like over $135,000 in just 5 years. So I cashed in on that. But, you know, obviously now it's starting to normalize, but you said there's still like 8 offers. I mean, that's still pretty good. So would you say it's still more of a seller's market, or is it more of a buyer's market now?
It's still a seller's market, I would say. To give you an example, a few months back, or let's say maybe about 8 months back, homes were just flying off the shelves. You would have a property on the market for about, if it was a nice, desirable home, you'd have it on the market for just a few days before an offer got accepted. Now homes are starting to sit a little bit longer. The buyer demand is still strong. It's just not as strong as it was a few months back.
Gotcha.
So it's still a seller's market, but there's definitely a shift in the market. And it looks like, it's moving towards, again, it's still too early to say it'll be a buyer's market in the near future, but it's moving away from where it was a few months back.
Yeah, for sure. Now, some advisors that, you know, kind of follow the markets and specifically the real estate market, they say that there could be potentially a crash coming, which the last time there was a big crash was back in 2008. And at the time I was only like, I can't remember, maybe 18, 19 years old, maybe a little bit older, 20 probably. But I saw it kind of as a scary time But now, if there is a crash, I'm kind of excited because like it's going to turn into a buyer's market, meaning everything's going to be on sale.
Exactly.
Everything's going to be super dirt cheap. So I plan to acquire as much property as possible if that happens. But first of all, do you see a crash even happening, or you don't think that's going to happen?
You know what? In the past few weeks, I've been starting to hear that a lot more. I personally feel it's still too early to tell. Again, there is a shift in the market, but it's too early to say it's going to be a buyer's market in a few months. I think for that to happen, we really need to wait at least 6 months to have a better understanding of where we'll be.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if the market does crash, it's how you mentioned, it's to a certain extent everything's on sale.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So if you're looking to purchase, if you're looking to buy, it's probably one of the best things that could happen for you as a buyer.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot. You hear a lot of uncertainty from the news or the media, and again, I see it as a potential opportunity in the market. If you're looking to invest, if you're looking to buy, it's only going to help you.
Yeah. Now, if someone is like thinking of buying, right, and some of these economists are saying that it could potentially happen, would you recommend that they wait to see if that happens, or just say, no, let's go ahead and buy it now?
You know, I feel that, you know, there's a saying that goes, the best time to buy was 5 years ago, and the second best time to buy is now. I feel like ultimately, if your goal is to buy a home and you're ready and willing and you qualify for this purchase, that is the right time to buy. Like you mentioned earlier, it's you never know what's going to happen in the future.
Yep.
But chances are, what we've seen in the last 100 years, we've only had about 25% of a down market. 75% of that has been property values have been going up. So chances are that they'll continue to rise, especially with the amount of housing or the lack of housing that we have.
Right.
I only see them rising. So again, if you buy something now, if you qualify for something now, chances are that 10 years from now, you're going to have a gain in equity. And it's better to buy something now than 10 years from now when it's more expensive.
Right. Yeah, 100%. I think that that's some people try to time the market, but there's really no way of timing it because you don't really know what's going to happen, right? You can kind of follow trends, but what if it actually doesn't? What if it doesn't?
Exactly.
What if it actually gets more expensive and you look back and you're like, oh man, I should have bought.
Yeah.
So it's always, to me, it's always like, hey, if you find the property that has your name on it and you know it should be yours, like go ahead and buy it.
Exactly. And you know, we've been hearing this market crash, talks of this market crash more now, but really buyers have been hoping for a market crash for the last 10 years and that hasn't happened.
Right.
So again, if you're ready to buy, I would say, and if that's your goal, I would say buy and then wait rather than waiting to buy.
Right. Yeah, 100%. Now, one of the things that's pretty interesting regarding this too is that, you know, you can never really time the market. But, you know, I've always, like Warren Buffett always said, like, hey, when he buys stocks, for example, he always buys a stock when he likes the company. And he always says, like, I'm going to buy the company. I'm never going to time the market because I never know if it's going to go up and down. And he's one of the wealthiest, or stock investors in the whole world.
Yes.
So I would recommend, you know, people do the same thing for real estate as well. Now, but one of the things you mentioned is a lack of basically housing.
Yes.
Right. And I actually have seen that, like here in Bakersfield, for example, there's so much construction and there's probably not enough construction even to keep up with the demand for housing. So are you seeing that all across the board as well, or?
Yeah, pretty much all across the board. Here in Kern County, we actually see more construction than in other counties. So Kern County is kind of fortunate on that aspect. But even then, as a whole, when you look at the state or even the country, there is a huge lack of housing. We are about close to 11 million homes behind from what is needed.
Wow.
Yeah. So, the president had proposed to build 500,000 homes within the next few years, But even then, that's just a fraction of what is needed.
Wow.
So it's something that we're seeing basically throughout the whole country.
Wow. That's pretty crazy. And what's interesting is like you can only build so much. Like you said, in Kern County, there's actually construction being built, but like in certain other areas, there's no more land to be built on. It's like the house, there's no more space. So, obviously there's a limited amount of real estate or a limited amount of housing that can even be built.
Exactly.
Now there is obviously there was a lot, huge baby boomers, right? Back in I can't remember, the 60s or probably whatever it was. And now, it seems like, at least from what I've seen, less people are having less kids than they were back then. Right. So the population probably is going to kind of normalize, I guess you could say, as well, which might stabilize the real estate economy. But obviously 11 million homes is going to take a while.
It's going to take some time. Yeah.
Yeah. So cool. Now, so if someone, is interested, in real estate, what is probably like your kind of recommendation if someone wants to buy or sell? Like, do you recommend that? Like, how do they even start?
So, what I suggest is a first step. If you're looking to purchase a home, the first step would be to sit down with a professional like myself. It's a matter of coming up with a plan and figuring out what your goals are. If it's a home that you want to live in, if it's a home that you want to invest in and rent out, or whatever it may be. That first step is to sit down and come up with a plan. You want to process a pre-qualification. The pre-qualification is going to let you know what your financing options are. It gives us the answers to a lot of important questions. It lets us know how much of a down payment you'll need, what interest rate they could offer you, how much you'll need for closing. It gives us the answers, again, to a lot of important questions. Once that's completed, that again also lets us know what your buying power is. And based off of that information, we then start looking for homes that have what you're looking for within that price range. So again, the first step is basically to meet with me, process a pre-qualification, and that'll determine what your financing options are.
Cool. Sounds good. Now, if you're looking to sell, how's that process different?
It's the difference is that again, if you're looking to sell and not replace the property, then it's a matter of doing some research on the home, figuring out what the value of the home is, to then list the property for the proper market value. But if you were looking to sell a home to then replace it and purchase or upgrade, then you still want to not only do the pre-qualification, but again, do the find out more about the home that you're looking to sell. We take all that information, put it together, and come up with a plan, a customized plan for your goals.
Cool. Sounds good. Now, obviously, there's so many realtors out there, and like the real estate. I mean, it seems like everyone is a realtor nowadays. So how does someone how do you differentiate yourself from the market? Obviously, you have some mortgage experience. So kind of tell me a little bit about like how you're unique and compared to every other real estate agent.
So in the real estate industry, sometimes you hear some negative feedback to where realtors are just salesmen. They're just wanting to do this, whatever is in their best interest. And what I try to do is I try to let my clients know that my goal is to accomplish their goal. There's a lot of people or salesmen that they try to convince you why you should purchase this or move forward with this, and that's not why I'm here. I'm not here to convince anyone. I'm simply here to assist you with whatever your goals may be, and to make your process as smooth and as easy as possible. I feel that the knowledge that I've gained in my time in mortgage has helped me a lot. It allows me to provide a bit more to my clients, and also just the team that I have around me. My broker, he's been in the industry for about 30 years now.
Wow.
We have a pretty good team. They have a lot of experience as well. We try to work together to, if one of us has a question or needs an answer to whatever it may be, we always try to help each other. So I also feel that having that team allows you to provide better service to your clients.
Yeah, 100%. I think the more resources you have, the more powerful you are as a service provider.
Absolutely.
So tell me about, we talked about this a little bit before the show, your basically your broker, I think you said is your older brother.
Yeah, he is actually.
Yeah. So, and he's been in the business for 30 years. So tell me a little bit about that experience. Cause first of all, I mean, working with a family member, they always say don't work with your family, because, there could be conflicts and stuff. So how has that experience been?
You know what? You do hear that from time to time, but I've been very fortunate that while I've been there, he's been very supportive. We try to keep, when we're at the office, we try to keep it as professional as we can. When we're at the office, we're there for work, we're there for business, and I think that's what allows our partnership to work out as well as it does. But really, I can't complain. It's been great. My broker and my team has been very supportive. I've learned a lot while I've been there. I can only say nothing but good things.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I think that's important, like having, knowing which hat to put on, right?
Exactly.
So if you're in the office, it's like, hey, we're here for business. Even though we're brothers, this is business.
Exactly.
And then once we're at a family gathering, obviously it's a different environment.
It is, there's a time and place for everything.
Right.
And, as long as you're able to remember that and put on your work hat when you're at work, then you'll be fine.
Cool. So, what kind of obviously inspired you to be, because your brokerage is Weicker Realtor Superior Home. So why did you choose that brokerage? Obviously your brother probably was a big influence, but you mentioned that there was a lot of resources as well. So kind of explain, what those resources are. How are you guys different?
So, again, one of the big factors was, again, my brother being the broker that kind of introduced me to the real estate side of things. But not only that, again, the Weicker, they offer, like I said, a lot of tools. They offer a lot of support. They offer a lot of training. And all this is provided, for the most part, at no cost to our agents. It's things that a lot of other brokerages charge for. So I feel that when it comes to developing agents and developing a team, being able to provide as much as possible training, resources, whatever it may be, that has a huge value in putting together a great team.
Awesome. Cool. Now, as far as, you specifically are, like, how does your team work? Do you have what kind of assistants do you have, and how do you work with them, and how does it make you become a better service provider?
So to give you a little bit of insight, if we for example, if we're working on a file, if we have somebody in escrow, we have a transaction coordinator that handles all the paperwork for the file. If it's example, somebody that we're just starting to show homes to, again, we have a team that we have people designated for showings that are always there and available to help the client, to show them property if need be. So we try to make the process as smooth and as easy as possible for the clients. Again, this purchasing a home or a real estate transaction, there's a lot of as a client, there's a lot of things that they don't know.
Right.
So again, our job is to explain everything to them and keep them in the loop, and again, make the transaction as smooth as possible for them.
Cool, man. Now, if someone wants to be like a realtor, I mean, would you recommend, like, let's say, because you were in mortgage and you went from being in a mortgage to become a real estate agent, so would you recommend that people follow the same path as you, or like what are some of the benefits versus maybe the disadvantages of being in real estate?
It's I feel like ultimately there's not a one size fits all for everyone when it comes to the path that they have to or should take. I feel like that's what worked out best for me. Although a lot of times, normally when you're in the real estate industry, there's more people that start on the real estate side of things and then move on to mortgage. So I kind of did it backwards. But again, ultimately, it's I think the most important thing is if you want to become a real estate agent, you have to find a team that that is willing to support you and provide as much training as possible.
Right.
I think that is the most important thing.
Yeah, 100%. I think without any support, you're pretty much walking blind.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's like you're kind of trying to figure it out yourself, and then you're just spinning your wheels. I mean, and that's why I think mentorship is really important too, because they've been there through that, that situation, and instead of trying to Google it or YouTube it or research it, it's like you can just ask your mentor.
One quote I heard a while ago, and it's very simple, but it stuck to me a lot. It takes 20 years to get 20 years of experience, and there's no other way around it. Like, if you want 20 years of experience, you have to put in time.
Yep.
And again, finding a mentor or somebody that has that experience, that has been through what you're going through now, is key to your success.
Yeah, 100%. Because the nothing beats experience at the end of the day. It's like someone who has the experience, they've been through, probably market shifts.
Yes.
They've been through, buyer's market, seller's markets, interest rates rising, interest rates decreasing. And so when that time comes, they know how to handle that situation or how to pivot for that specific market, right?
Exactly.
Otherwise, I think that's probably when, like, for example, back in 2008, when there was a big real estate crash, that's when a lot of realtors left the real estate industry and went into they just got regular jobs.
Exactly.
Because they didn't have that support or someone that they could, like, hey, this is how we're going to pivot. This is how we're going to make money, even in this downshift, regardless, the fact that we're in a recession, like, we can still make money. But if you don't have that support system, when that market shifts or whenever there's a downturn or a recession, you're like, oh, this real estate is probably not for me.
Exactly. If you don't have the support, and what you're doing to get deals no longer works, if there is a market shift, then again, you have to adjust to those times. And again, having that support, having good training, having a good brokerage to help you throughout that transition, is going to help in your success. Again, I think that's very important.
Yep.
Very important.
Yeah, 100%. Now, there's so many things to real estate as well. There's like obviously buying and selling for yourself, but there's also real estate investing, and there's also real estate appraisers. There's also people who wholesale, people who flip properties. So there's like so much opportunity in real estate. So where has your focus been, and do you plan on venturing out, or what kind of, like, where are you right now?
So right now my focus is residential real estate. Whether it's helping buyers, sellers, investors, that is my main focus at the moment. And you're right. One of the beautiful things about real estate is that there is a lot of avenues to this industry. You don't have to be just a real estate agent. You could be an investor. You could be a wholesaler, how you said, find deals for other investors, basically just be the middleman and allow or help them in that way. So it's again, real estate is a great option. It's definitely something I would suggest to look into. Again, not necessarily just as an agent, but all the other options that it offers. There's a lot of opportunity in real estate.
Yeah, for sure. Cool. And so your focus has been in kind of the residential for now, and that's kind of been your bread and butter.
Correct.
And so and then having the support system has helped you kind of grow as well. So where do you kind of see yourself, like 3 to 5 years? Where do you kind of see yourself in the future?
My goal is to continue helping my community. Obviously, the plan is to grow the business, be able to provide more to our clients. And again, our main goal is to continue moving forward, grow our business, and reach and help as many clients as possible.
Cool. Awesome. Yeah, I think that, again, having that service mindset was kind of like, it's going to help you basically continue to prosper regardless of the market, because You again, when you said in the beginning, it's like, what are your goals, right? And how can I help you? And really just putting yourself in your client's shoes. I think that's really important because, like you said, there might be other real estate people who are just, have their own kind of interest in mind, correct, as opposed to like, hey, how can I help you? How can I be of service? And how can I actually help you reach your goals, right? And I think that's what's going to help real estate agents during this time, whether there is a crash or whether there isn't. If you always provide value, you're going to be able to succeed.
Absolutely, and really that's what's what the way I've approached my business from the beginning. Again, my goal is to help reach my client's goal. So I feel by providing as much service and value as possible, that alone is what differentiates one agent from the other. Because how you said, there's a lot of agents in the industry, and really they all, for the most part, provide the same services. It's just a matter of who could provide them the better,
right?
Who is offering the most value,
right? Yeah, 100%. Yeah, because it's like at the end of the day, it's like, how are you different from just a real estate agent next door? And you got to be able to basically differentiate yourself by providing more value, and really putting yourself, in your client's shoes. So that's awesome. So Dario, if anybody wants to either help, they want to buy a house or sell a house, they can reach you at escamilla.realty. Also on Facebook under Dario Escamilla. So any final words, our listeners regarding kind of the real estate market or just your services in general?
Well, like I mentioned, I'm here to help my community. If any real estate questions arise, please don't hesitate to reach out. I'm for the most part always available. Any questions, you could contact me direct. My cell phone number is 805-607-0677. You could also reach me through my email at dario@wrsuperiorhomes.com. And again, any questions, anything real estate related, please do not hesitate to reach out.
Cool, man, Dario. So thanks for being on the show, and you've been a great insight into the real estate market. So thanks again for being on the show, and it's been a pleasure.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.